A dozen countries or multinational space agencies have managed to place ships in orbit around the moon, but only 4 have landed them in a controlled manner on its surface. And so far, only astronauts from the United States have left their mark on it. However, the exploration of our satellite is accelerating, and numerous actors, including private companies, are joining this process. But why does everyone now want to go to the moon? What did they discover? In recent years, the number of missions to the moon has increased considerably, and other nations or corporations have joined with their own ships, or as passengers on more ambitious projects. India, China, Russia, Japan, and Europe already have plans to take human and other missions to the moon, some of them with successful tests like India, with its Chandrayaan-3, while South Korea and North Korea also have their eyes set on the moon. It even seems that NASA recently got the urge again. Recently announced a renewed vision of the deep space portal, which includes a port of call on the moon for routes to Mars and beyond. Elon Musk has also called for creating a lunar base. Private companies are competing to get a piece of the moon cake. Attracted by Google's X Prize, endowed with several $1 million that challenges participants to develop low-cost methods for robotic space exploration. It should be noted that no human has gone to the moon since 1972. And only 12 people have done so in total. All American men, but soon the list may be much longer. Why the moon? Haven't we already done everything that needed to be done there? I will show you some new reasons, which make countries want to go to the moon. Number 1. International cooperation and treaties. There are already several examples of scientific technical cooperation. Russia has announced its intention to collaborate with China, and India does so with Japan. But the most ambitious project may possibly be Artemis, the international agreement led by the United States to return to the moon. At least 28 countries have already signed the agreement. Artemis will involve an investment of at least $100 billion and will represent the return of human beings to the surface of our satellite. But it is much more ambitious since it could mean the beginning of permanent bases on our satellite and the establishment of a transit station called Gateway to other celestial bodies. Number 2. A vision for innovation. In both the past and present, one of the reasons space attracts interest and investment from human beings is our curiosity to explore and push ourselves to the limit. But space also acts as a unifying force, providing insight. Clear that it helps the progress of technology and innovation. Today, space exploration once again drives technological development, inspiring collaboration between science and engineering, as well as creating national pride. It is something that could be seen reflected in the agenda of the last International Astronautics Congress in Australia. These incentives are especially important for some emerging economies such as India, China, and Russia, meaning that more established players such as Europe and the United States have to work harder if they want to keep up. Number 3. New discoveries. Despite decades of observations, each new mission to the moon produces new discoveries. The Japanese Selene spacecraft and India's Chandrayaan-1 mission discovered new mineral distributions on the moon and probed regions with potential resources. An interesting discovery has been the presence of water ice and other organic compounds in regions that are in the area of the moon, which never see light from the sun. If present in sufficient quantities, water ice on the moon, it could be used as a resource for fuel generation or to facilitate human settlements. Number 4. Economic and geopolitical advantages. Moon exploration promotes both international cooperation and competition. Even if a country does not have its own space program, it can develop mechanisms that fly on spacecraft built and established by other nations. For example, India's Chandrayaan-1 spacecraft carries mechanisms from Sweden, Germany, the United Kingdom, Bulgaria, and the United States to the moon. This helps to combine the different economies and is a great incentive to maintain peace. There are incentives to want to settle on the moon, such as helium-3, an isotope of the element helium. It is abundant on the moon and is very rare on Earth. It is a potential fuel for nuclear fusion, an almost unlimited and non-polluting source of energy. China in particular has expressed great interest in helium-3 from the moon. Number 5 is an easy target. Growing space agencies need successful missions, and the moon is a tempting target. Radio communication for the relatively short distance between Earth and the moon, 384,400 kilometers, is almost instantaneous, 1 to 2 seconds. Between Earth and Mars, Two-way communication can take an hour. The moon's low gravity and lack of atmosphere also simplify operations for orbiters and landers. The Russian lunar missions demonstrated that it is technically feasible to apply robotics to attract samples from the moon to Earth. Number 6. It is data learning about the Earth. Before the Apollo missions, it was thought that planets formed over long periods of time, after a slow agglomeration of dust particles. Moon rocks, brought to Earth by the Apollo missions, changed that idea overnight. We now know that collisions between giant planets were normal, and that a collision of a planet the size of Mars with the Earth probably formed the Moon. We have also learned that the Moon's dark circular shapes are asteroid impact scars, produced by the changes in the orbits of Jupiter and Saturn. Without a doubt, future studies of the Moon will give us more information about the origin of the Earth, our planet. Traveling to the Moon creates jobs, involves technical innovations, and implies new discoveries that improve the lives of all of us down here. And to conclude, this new phase of lunar exploration is marked by what is called by the Anglo-Saxon term soft power, the image that a country projects its technological and to a certain extent military potential. The success of the complex lunar mission certifies the technology of the companies that participate in the process, under the most extreme conditions, and therefore, it is one of the best letters of presentation of a nation.